Survive a war, you gotta become war.
Boom, and welcome to Rambo and Frens. I apologize. I'm reading all your guys' comments for being stylishly late. You know what I mean? We were just having some fun pre-show conversation before we started, so I hope everybody understands. Welcome. I'm happy to see every single one of you in the chat. I am, as always, super stoked to hang out with these two people, one of which wasn't here for our last interaction. So I have missed Sarge even more than maybe Fiesty, because he wasn't here last time, although Fiesty killed it. Feisty, look, if you guys aren't aware, and this is the first time you are going to see these two on the show, you are in for quite a treat, right? They hate when I build them up like this. They're not the only two. Lots of people that come on this show hate when I do this, except for that it's the truth, and that's why I do it before they get here. Feisty Cat is probably one of the greatest diggers. She will tell you that it's because has too much time in her hands, but I will tell you, her passion shines through. This young lady is an absolute savage when it comes to research, and you guys are in for quite a treat. And of course, Sarge, the parasite guy, has been on here multiple times by himself and with Fiesty, and he always kills it. And he's quickly become one of my besties in this movement. And talk about fearless. This dude does things that I don't typically do as far as calling people out. So I will say hat tip to him for that. Somebody's got to do it. I don't like doing it, so thank you. Let's hear from Trump.
A chance to talk to my friends. These are my friends.
Right. That's my favorite. Hi, Fiesty. You're muted. You got to unmute before.
Hey there. I was thinking about leaving it after you did all that.
Don't leave. Don't leave. You're the star of the show.
No, I'm not. Sorry to make up for lost time.
I love when people research really deep and prove my gut correct, and you do that all the time. So I love you.
I think we're siblings from another mother kind of thing.
There's no question.
We have the same brainwaves.
Yeah, there's no question. Let's add it, Sarge. What's up,
hey,
buddy?
what's up, brother?
It's good.
How's it going, brother?
We missed you last time.
I know. I think I was on vacation when Feisty was last time.
How dare he do that, right?
I know. Catching some sun.
I'm going on vacation next week. Did you?
Nice.
Did either? It's not really vacation. I'll tell you in a second. But did either of you guys go see the Flynn movie?
Yes.
I have not seen it yet, but I plan on watching it when I get some time this upcoming week.
Do you want to go to Delaware with me, Sarge?
I would love to, but I don't think I can escape yet. But I did hear he's coming to Virginia, so
is he really?
So that's what I heard. He doesn't have dates locked in yet. I think he's looking for a venue and
so he'll go down to Norfolk.
Possibly. I don't know if he's going to come up this way.
How many people are going to come inside the Brown Zone? I mean, let's get real.
Yeah. Hey, he could surprise us all.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe I'll take a trip down south and spend a couple days down there. But
Well,
yeah, so I want to touch.
It's very much worth it. Just so you know, it's very much worth it. I was crying
Yeah.
like.
I want to touch on something real quick before we get this going. So last Wednesday, a week ago, a friend brought me into a Zoom call with General Flynn. There are a bunch of people in there, but it was my first time ever being in a call with General Flynn, and I had the opportunity to ask him a question at the very end, and that question was something like with all of the trolls and infighting taking place within the movement, do we just let them be, or do we engage and fight back with truth? And for me that was really important, because I see a lot of people taking either position. They'll say, yeah, we have to engage and set the record straight, and then other people say, you know what, if we don't pay any attention to them, it'll just die off. Well, Flynn's answer was, Flynn and Boone both responded, and they said to engage, to engage with friends, right? So don't do it alone, and we're not engaging to sway the troll, because we're never going to do that, but we are engaging to reach out to the third party observer, right? It may in fact alter their opinion or perception, especially when you present evidence. And I like to try and just keep emotion out of it, right? So instead of like the back and forth and the endless war, you just drop your evidence and go, right? Don't spend too much energy and time on it. Say your piece and move on. But yeah, so that was my takeaway from it. It kind of re-energized me, because I had a rough couple of weeks. Just a lot of stuff going on at home here, and so it was a message that I needed to hear. And it was great to finally be able to interface with Flynn directly one-on-one.
I don't disagree with what you were told.
Yep.
I think the problem comes in when there's the back and forth.
Yes.
Don't engage to that level. Set the record straight. Get the hell out of there, and never give them all you got.
Yep.
I think that's another foolish thing.
Yep, I completely agree.
So here's my perspective on it, because of a recent experience. So I didn't attack anybody. I made a post about something. I don't honestly remember even what the post was about. I may remember it as I tell the story, but my point in the post was all of these things that get heavily attacked are attacked for a reason. And I listed off a bunch of them. Flynn was one that was right in the middle somewhere, right? I mean, you could look at tons of things. Michael Jackson, Donald Trump, Q, right? Flynn. All of these things, in my opinion, through the things that I've researched and gone back and looked at, get attacked for a reason, whether that be that they're a threat or they are a unifying party within this movement, or whatever it might be. They get attacked to discredit and divide the movement. So I didn't aim that at anybody. It was just a post I made. And honestly, it's kind of surprising that I don't get much hate anymore. Probably because I've blocked a lot of like a specific group and a couple other people. And I don't engage the way typically a lot of people do. I do it in a very loving and understanding way. And I do that on purpose. I don't necessarily, like when I get called a Q-tard or whatever it might be, I'm like, my response is typically like, I love you and I respect your opinion. We are, in my opinion, in a state of 5th generation warfare. You can cite your sources and I can cite mine, but I believe that the ultimate goal is a free thought process and accepting and respecting each other's opinions. So I kind of like diffuse it right away. So I don't typically get a whole bunch of hate anymore. I think because of that tactic. And I believe in that tactic, to be honest.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with approaching it from a position of love, right? They may still disagree with your position, but if you handle it in a respectful way, then they may walk away with a specific opinion about you that's, hey, this guy's not so bad after all.
But I will tell you though, Sarge and Feisty, when I put Flynn's name in there, Ariel and minions from other accounts that disagree swarmed upon me. And at first I wanted to kick shit and punch stuff and attack them. And I thought, this is not helping anyone. So I just stopped. And that third party thing's cool, except for I was alone, right? So you first said do it with friends. I was alone. And I didn't really want to call him back up because I thought it would make it worse. And so I just told him, look, we're all headed in the same direction. I truly believe that Flynn's going to have a place in the administration, no matter what that be. I pray to God it's vice president, because I just want to punch him all in the face with it. But I don't think it will be. That's my honest opinion. And I didn't think I lost 40 followers in 3 minutes because of it. Because of Ariel and his crew, and he has presented evidence that they all believe. Well, I have had the same experience that you have, Sarge, where I've gotten to be in Zoom calls and listen to the man speak in a way that I thought he was talking to me. I was there, right? So I don't know him. He doesn't know me. This Tuesday will be the first time I ever get to shake his hand. I did go and do what a lot of people are mad at him for, and I paid the money to get VIP, because whether you agree with him being a traitor, which I don't believe, or a patriot, as I do, it doesn't matter. That part doesn't matter to me. He is, in my opinion, from what I've read in the drops and what I've experienced in real life, I believe that he's absolutely 100% on our side. So I chose to pay the little bit of money so that I can shake his hand. And if I'm wrong, in the end, it doesn't matter. We're still all headed in the same direction, and I'll eat crow, and that's cool. I don't mind being wrong. I'm wrong all the time. It is what it is. I'm right more than I'm wrong, though. So we'll just I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't mean to go on this whole thing, and I'm glad that you put your 2 cents.
No, I think it's great. Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. We all want to unify, in this community, and we've been preaching it for years. But in order to do that, we have to focus on evidence and truth, right? We can't unify behind lies. That doesn't work. So when we find valid info, we present it, and we try to come together as a collective and support each other.
Maybe we should do this just on a service level, rather than keeping it service level. Just dive in for a second. I want to hear your guys' opinions on this. General Flynn is probably the best trained spook on the planet. He is.
Well, I wouldn't call him a spook. I would not call him a spook. Okay. He was military intel. All right.
Okay.
Was he a CIA or FBI operative? No, he was. General Flynn was a soldier at the officer level. Okay, so when you operate at that level, then you have, lower level officers. You have enlisted personnel. They're collecting intel, right? So they're the ones out there searching for, looking for the needle in a haystack, and then presenting it. They strip out what they don't think is relevant. They present it up to Flynn's level, and then that information is then used to make decisions that impact military operations. So this idea of him being a spook is, I see it as incorrect. Now I do think that he understands how to think, and he's navigated this environment for his entire career. So he understands how the other organizations operate.
Well, the fact is, as DIA, he kind of had insight into the CIA piece, right? The state piece, because that's what that role does. So it's not like he went into that role not understanding the other segments of the IC. He absolutely does that. So I agree with you. Don't call him a spook, but he definitely knows how a spook thinks.
Well, okay. So that's a good, I want to say, when I said that word, I meant it in no way, shape, or form.
I don't get that, but there is a difference, and you need to think about that. There is a difference between the two.
Okay. And I appreciate both your opinions, yours being well-researched, Feisty, and Sarge, yours being in the military. I appreciate that.
I was too.
Were you? Tell me. I don't think I remember that. Tell me.
I was in military intel 40 some years ago. Yeah, it was.
Well, now I think you're an operator.
No. Although there were people that accused me of winding the atomic clock. I still haven't figured out how you do that exactly.
Well, things like J6 are used against people that were there. And that honestly, I don't think is something that can be used against them, because I think the J6 was part of the show. So
it is.
Yeah.
Did you know, by the way, that there was immediately a grand jury convened over J6? Not this crap show that we've been watching all these years, but a real legitimate J6 grand jury was convened. And did you know that within a week they knew it wasn't Trump supporters, but people that hated Trump that caused the mayhem? Within a week, it came out that the feds admitted it had nothing to do with Trump supporters. So that begs the question: what have we been doing for the last 3 years?
Yep.
But
welcome to the movie.
Well, at the same time, wasn't J6 and COVID, if we're honest, needed to allow for the optics of a caged-in, militarized DC, so that we could then play out the rest of this operation? It was needed.
Absolutely.
What if COVID and J6 were allowed to entrap the caged-in, militarized DC?
I know, it's beautiful.
You know, one of the things, and Sarge, you've heard me say it before, one of the things you do is you use their tools your way.
And they are still
Exactly.
Look at what's happening with court. I mean, it is.
Oh my gosh, is that hysterical? Now go look at post 697.
Oh geez, Eric. I'm gonna pull up QAG.
Yeah, you do.
I'm listening. Tell me while I look.
Leverage depleted, POTUS freed.
Yep.
Right? And then it goes into extreme chatter. 698.
What's the number?
USSS on high alert. 697 and 698.
Everyone
698 is USSS on high alert. People think that's Secret Service. No, it's not.
697. Everybody say goodbye to YouTube.
Yep, USSS on high alert.
People think there's now POTUS freed is because, I don't know if you saw, the Fonnie Willis case is collapsing. Obviously, Jack Smith is collapsing. And I don't know what you would call that crap going on in New York, but that's collapsing, right?
Yeah.
Now go look at 698. The boom, USSS on high alert. People think that that's the United States Secret Service. No, it's not. It's United States SINGIT, Signals Intelligence, right? Operations, services. That falls under, you're ready for this? It now falls under Space Force. Ooh. So while the extreme chatter is happening because the leverage is depleted and POTUS is freed, somebody is just plucking up all those conversations. Isn't that just beautiful?
Yep.
Isn't it warm fuzzy?
Let me take a second, because that joke may have gone over some people's heads. I'm sure most people understood, but if for some reason the feed ever goes down on YouTube, because
it's because Fiesty spoke.
well, it's not just you. I do it for sure. Every show I do it, to be honest with you. I sit up here and I watch the check mark on YouTube and wait for it to go to an X. I just wait for it. If ever the people that watch on YouTube, and you know, it does go down, we are on Rumble and my X platform. And very shortly, I know I keep threatening this, but we will also be up on pill.net. I'm talking to them. I'm trying to figure it out. I just think of the technical stuff and don't have necessarily enough time to figure it all out every day. So we will be up on Pilled shortly. Anyway, can I do the podcaster thing before we start to get deep?
Yeah.
Real quick? All right. So first and foremost, I haven't done this in a few shows, so I want to say thank you to Mike Lindell If you guys decide to support Mike Lindell and My Pillow, as you should, the dude is an absolute staple in this movement. He has been here since day one. We have videos and pictures of him going in and out of the White House. Plus, his products are awesome. I know, I got them. And you want to also support this show, promo code Rambo. He is out here supporting every single show. There is about 3 million promo codes you can use, but Rambo will support this show and allow me to keep having amazing guests like the two that you're seeing in front of you right now. And also, I'm going to drop this link in the chat, covfefe.coffee, which is probably my favorite new project. Sarge is in here. Sarge's roast. And there's your Rambo roast. You got a lot of the people I've had on this show in here. Brainstorm, Defender, right? Awakened Outlaw, Swampy. I really want to meet Swampy someday. Right? So there's a whole bunch of amazing patriots / anons within the movement that you can support by going to kofefe.coffee. I will put the link that specifically helps this show in the chat of both X and Rumble. And I hope that everybody goes and tries it. That being said, I want to take care of one more real quick house cleaning thing. I did a thing because I don't know if you guys know, but I give away coffee every once in a while. Maybe Sarge, if you want to, we can do one for you today.
Yeah.
But I haven't had a really good concrete way for people to get a hold of me. So there's actually 2 people that won coffee that I have not yet sent it to. Josie Wales, I see you in the chat. Yours is on the way. I didn't send it until this morning because I was trying to do them all at once. I apologize for the wait, but it is on the way. Mad Ferret and Maria Weil. If either of you 2 see this, this is now the new way to let me know what a good address is so I can send that to you. I started an email for the show. So it's Rambo and Frens, one word, at proton.me. So it's I believe that's what it is. Let me make sure. I literally just did it this morning. So that email is, it's a Proton email, and it's Rambo and Frens at proton.me. So that is going to be, and I will say it every time that we do the giveaway, that is going to be the way that everyone, whether we follow each other or not, you can let me know a good address privately that I can send it to you. I don't care. I'm not scraping your data. I don't give a shit where you're at. I just want to help get the word out there for kofefe.coffee. It supports me. It supports all these other add-ons. It supports Pepe Deluxe and A-Track, who built the website. And it's just a really cool venture that we're all involved in. So, Sarge, if you want, we'll give away a bag of yours at the end of the day.
Sweet. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of it. I ordered a couple pounds of it about a month ago, and I've gone through the first bag and about ready to crack open the next bag, and I'm gonna have to order more soon.
I'm actually jealous of yours. You got like the flavor I would want.
I mean, so I'm a coffee junkie, and I think French roast is probably my favorite. So when I was talking to A-Track, about getting this set up, he's like, okay, what kind of coffee do you want? I was like, anything dark. And so he threw some things out there, and then French roast popped up, and I was like, yep, that's it. Let's go with it.
Yeah. I haven't actually, it's funny. I bought like 10 bags, but I haven't bought myself one yet. I just keep giving them away. So I will here shortly try them. Can we do one thing in passing? I actually have some more stuff, but I'm going to save it for the end because I want Fiesty to get in deep with some of the things she wants to talk about. But can we address just one thing quick in passing that I haven't yet on this show gotten a chance to talk about, and I really want to? So did you guys see this post I made about De Niro? Seriously, it was just an in-passing post, right? It was like, to me, it was like, okay, this dude is saying some crap that like really makes me uncomfortable. And my, the verbiage I put on top of it really honestly kind of said that. So I'm going to play this quick clip quick.
No.
Could you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to play this quick and then I'm going to get to the point.
Sense, not of joy, but of relief at least that he's potentially facing some consequences, because as you've said before, this guy's a con artist and he's gotten away with it for years.
No, he's more than that to me. He's sick. He is really genuinely a sick person that somehow has been allowed into our system. And I'm not calling him, I'm tired of calling him names. He just can't be anywhere near the office of the presidency.
You've played a lot of bad guys. Would you ever play Donald Trump?
Never. There's nothing about him. There's not one redeeming thing in him that I can see ever. It's funny. I was just thinking that he actually became president. He could have done good things. Instead, he had to do it all wrong. He's so, as we all know, so narcissistic and self-centered.
What do you say to those who say, I don't like the guy, but I'm going to vote for him? What's your message to them?
I don't understand it. I don't think they understand how dangerous it will be if he ever, God forbid, becomes president. I don't think they really understand. And historically, from what I see, even in Nazi Germany, they had it with Hitler. They don't take him serious. He looks like a clown, acts like a clown. Mussolini, same thing. These guys, I don't know why, they look like clowns. They somehow, that element of society identifies in some ways with them, but it would be chaos beyond our imagination. There's no mystery about him. He's right out front, and what he says is what it'll be if he becomes president.
Do you think our democracy is at risk in this election?
I think that it is. I always keep saying democracy is great, of course, but democracy people take for granted. It's a word that some people don't even understand. They take it for granted. It's about right and wrong, period. The guy's a monster. He is beyond wrong. It's almost like he wants to do the most horrible things that he can think of in order to get a rise out of us. I don't know what it is, but he's been doing it, and it's scary.
Oh,
Sense, not of joy,
right?
but of relief at least that he.
Lady, yo, how nuts is that, right? Go ahead. Give me
my
your.
gosh, all he's missing is sweat off his brow.
I can't help but think that he's a great actor, and we've gone through this drill of wondering who's who and whether or not they're playing a role. And I mean, De Niro's stuck to his script pretty well, or his guns. So we may find out at some point in the future that he was playing a role, or he may believe everything he says, and it really doesn't matter because I think it helps us.
Did you guys see who replied?
Yes, I saw this. I thought that was hysterical.
Freaking amazing.
You should have sent him a note saying, thank you so much for the boost.
Yep.
This is the greatest thing I think that's ever happened to me.
But look at 68,000 views.
I know.
Nothing,
Well,
nothing
because
like drawing attention.
how do I pull up the quotes? Because so many people. There's AU, featured AU. This went on and on and on. QAG. Liz Churchill. Right? There's Smart Paul. Absolute 1776.
I love that. That's good.
This was the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Awakened Outlaw quoted it. Kitey quoted it. There's 8-Track himself. This was the greatest. White Hot Mike. This was the greatest thing. Look, he just kept getting.
A lot of people like that meme. That's
They're all over. There's Sean and on. Guy on the couch.
The cool part about this is look at all the people that jumped in to support you, right?
Yeah.
Like it was just you want to illustrate the power of this movement and support for each other. This is it right here.
Oh, here's AO's. It's no surprise that Keith Olbermann has his panties in a twist. That's the rule, not the exception. But that's that he's now taking shots at Anons for daring to mention pedophiles only it illustrates that they are feeling the heat. And there's AO. I want to frame this.
So we said we're gonna make this beautiful picture memorial for you so you can frame it.
Yeah, so many people there's really
need to put out a post to him saying, hey man, looking over all this stuff, reflecting, I really want to thank you for the boost. I
requested that he join me on the show.
He's not going to come on the show, but that's
I know he's not, but I still put it out there. Anyway, yeah, I just had to acknowledge it. That was last week. I haven't had a chance to talk about it on the show. I want to see what you guys thought, because many people thought that he did. He basically came over to Joe Rambo's page, right? Think about that, and held up a neon sign,
and then ran away.
And didn't answer it.
Then ran away. He just bopped you and go. He's still hiding under his bed.
That's so funny. Yeah.
But what was really cool, because, to Sarge's point, yes, De Niro was an actor, and he's a damn good actor. Is he playing a role? The story has to be told on that. Many of us have seen too many things, and we're questioning. If none of that is real, then he is an extra stellar actor, right? So,
yep.
when he compared Trump to Hitler and Mussolini, and you think about the 6 million Jews that got murdered, you have to sit here and think, okay, so there is a segment of our population that sees an end much like Hitler did to the Jews, right? I think that's something I could get on board with.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, Keith Olbermann kind of became famous by talking about grown-ass men playing with balls, right?
Right. Right. Because right. Never mind, right. Good old Keith.
Yeah. I don't know how many people.
I wondered how many times he's had to get new glasses.
I want to take a minute, because I didn't think about doing this, and I want to get into what you want to talk about, Fiesty, but
I don't have anything to talk about.
Well, yeah, you do. Who's the other guy? Who's the crazy one that talks about pig dick Donald Trump? What's his name?
Michael Rappaport.
Yes,
Yeah.
Rappaport. So Olbermann kind of reminds me of Rappaport at this point, right? So for him to be this far out there could only possibly be for shock value. Like how the polls are at this point quickly separating, so much so that normal people are going, whoa, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. Right? I think that this helps solidify the point that he didn't just come over to somebody like my page and say something
that isn't happenstance.
Right.
He boosted you without a doubt.
This is one of his most recent posts, right? This is insanity.
Get the Tuesday Countdown podcast, because fewer than 30% of all Trump voters are willing to say Kristi Noem did not do the right thing by murdering her own dog. And although it seems like a different story, it is not. The reaction that has come in about Justice Merchan after he told Trump that the next time he violates the gag order, he may go to jail. These two stories are actually about the same thing. The Trump belief, the Noem belief, the MAGA belief that they have the right to kill. Right now, they are only saying they have the right to kill animals, their own animals. Next, of course, it will be people. It will. Also, at this moment, not only is the New York Times checked out from reality and insisting that democracy is not the number one issue, it's...
All right, get off my screen.
I got something to say about that whole dog thing. Can I say it?
Yes, please.
So, when all of that was going on with Kristi Noem, of course, Catbird got involved. If you notice what was going on X, everybody was posting a picture of their dogs. Everybody from every walk of life, picture of their dogs. And then you get the picture of Biden walking with his dog, the one that's been banned from the White House how many times, and Kamala Harris holding her dog. And along with that was clear the palate. Rumor has it that Joe Biden's not going to finish his term. It came out last week that they're working on their transition team. Clear the palate. Sounds like a Scaramucci move, doesn't it?
Wow. This is why I love talking to you, Fiesty.
I don't know shit from Shinola, so I don't know why you had me on.
That was really humble.
You like punishment, right?
That was very self-deprecating, but we all know that's not the truth.
No, we noticed that when we were sitting in the chat. It's like, well, I think all this dog stuff is about a change in administration. Remember what happens after USFS on high alert? Castle Rock. Oh.
Yep.
So I didn't want to get into this until later, but you are. It is relevant to what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so while that was happening, this is what set me off. There's a thing that I did a little for fun, 4 a.m. dig while I was at work. Really wasn't anything deep. It was just kind of like a whole bunch of coincidences. So I put them out there because I like coincidences, and I think people are interested in them, especially when it comes to this cartoon narrative that we're watching play out. It's a psyop or psy war that is the Joe Biden administration.
Yeah.
So the one that set me off, yes, this is it. This I stumble across this just swiping on YouTube, right? And this is happening during that Kristi Noem, Carrie Lake dog getting murdered thing, right? Mm-hmm. Watch this.
Welcoming a new dog to their force.
This is Siren. Siren is adorable. This is she's the police department's first therapy dog. Siren will be a part of their peer support program to help first responders who deal with traumatic events. Therapy dogs are known to help lower stress, anxiety.
Now hold on. Does anyone notice this is CBS 17, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So of
That's
course
why just now I looked at it.
Right. So I picked this up right away.
But there's another one. Did you see the Durham?
Yes. Yes, I did. No. This is going to get deep, Feisty. Did you see this, Dig?
I can go deeper, but go ahead.
Well, no. Let's do it together. So, okay, let's watch the rest of this one.
And help alleviate mood or elevate mood, rather. She will also serve victim services to comfort people when needed. And with that face, I don't know, like how adorable is Siren?
Okay, go ahead. What do you have to say?
I am going to. You start first because I'm going to send you something.
Well,
that's going to rock you hard.
I wonder if I have it already. Hold on, because I bet you I have it. Go ahead, send it to me.
You don't. I'm sending it to you.
Oh, this was such a fun dig. Hold on, let's watch another one. This one blew my mind. So, CBS 17 of Raleigh, North Carolina, is hat tipping autists this month.
Day of May, some April business to finish up, and after getting 23 of 30 forecasts correct, we are going to hand over our check today to our 3-degree guaranteed charity, Living with Autism.
Guess how much
Ladies,
money?
Glad you're here. Daniel, I'll let you start us off.
On behalf of CBS 17 and Michael and Son, I'm happy to present you this check of $2,300.
Awesome. Hannah, Jennifer, what are you guys going to be able to do for your clients with this money?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you so much to CBS 17 and to Michael and Son. This is such an extraordinary donation, and we are going to use it for our facility. We are growing rapidly, so we are serving 68 clients with severe special needs. And with those severe special needs, we need one-on-one care for each of those clients. So we are running out of parking. So we are going to expand our parking with this check and get more clients in for the summer.
Awesome. Well, we are so happy to help you guys grow and keep up the great work. To learn more about living with autism, click on the weather tab on cbs17.com. And of course, stay tuned for more 3-degree guarantee throughout the month of May.
Do you know what that reminds me of?
What's that?
Q post where it says, bring the rain, you'll know when.
Yeah, why would you click on a weather tab to get information on autism?
Do you know that their weather department is called CBS 17 Storm Team?
Oh, jeez.
Look, I can keep going. There's more and more and more. I'm going to go right to what I think the highlight is.
Okay.
Do you want to know where the 4th PSYOP operations group is located?
In Fort Liberty. I knew that. Yeah.
In their airing.
I refuse to call it Fort Liberty.
You can call it whatever you want. It's inside the area of CBS 17 where they air.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Yes, wow. They're in the airing area of CBS 17.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So
that's their broadcast region.
Yeah, that station broadcasts to the 4th Psychological Operations Group. Mm-hmm. According to Google, is where they're located.
Mm-hmm. Did you remember that the last eclipse ended going over Fort Liberty?
Ooh.
No, I'm sorry. No. This first eclipse, the one from 2017, ended over Fort Liberty.
Well, okay, look at this. If you type into YouTube Hillary Van 9/11, like the memorial,
that infamous video.
Well, you get a bunch of them, right? I want you to look at the one that is CBS 17.
Oh, they put a moniker over it, huh?
They put a moniker, they focused, they slowed it down, they helped you see exactly what's happening.
And inside the van.
Why is it that CBS 17 is the only one that did this?
That's actually kind of cool.
I mean, there's tons of them, right? It was a huge moment. But CBS 17, the one that I'm picking up on, which is in the airing area of the 4th, as they're putting out their videos like crazy now. We have Ghost in the Machine #2 just came out. Mm-hmm. And look what they did to their version of this video. CBS freaking 17.
Do me a favor. Click on the actual date of that.
What do you mean?
I want to know what date that was posted. Go down 7 years ago. Say more.
Yeah.
It'll tell you under more. Click on the more.
Right,
keep going. 9/11 event. ... More. Right up there at the top.
Oh.
No. I wish I'm pointing at my computer. Right down. 9/11. There it is.
Hey, Joe. Joe, when you
September 11th, 2016. That's what I thought.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Interesting day.
Yes.
Hey, when you get a chance, Joe, pull up cbs17.com/weather.
Oh my gosh. Well, here's their actual site. But hold on. All right, I can do that. Let me take this down. Do you want to preempt it while I look?
Yeah, there's so it displays a forecast, the 10-day forecast.
Oh, that all seems.
Yes. Tell me the space. Tell me what is it?
CBS17.com
/weather.
CBS17.com/weather.
Yeah, something stood out to me there. There's a graphic at the very top of the page with the 10-day forecast.
Is this what I'm looking at?
Yeah, let's see.
Hold on.
Yep. Okay. All right. So take a look at Saturday.
Oh, what is that?
Looks like a storm. It's a storm icon, right? But 0% chance of rain.
Isn't that because they have a hockey? Isn't that their hockey team's logo?
I'm not sure, but why would you put that on a weather forecast?
I think it's because that's.
There's a lot of things happening on a weather forecast and going, huh? Did you see?
Yeah.
You see the new virus variants?
Yeah.
Reported by the Weather Channel, the new variant.
But You know, and then looking on their weather tab, I'm not seeing anything on autism. So kind of interesting that they would tell us to look at the
Well, that was
the
the
weather.
program, right?
Okay, so this is really funny though. I didn't realize this, and it's a really cool connection. So their NHL team is called the Hurricanes.
Yes. Yeah. But really, really weird that you would put that on a weather forecast. So
They
yeah.
obviously have a game on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yes. 17 Storm team.
So can I go back to that video of Clinton in the van on September 11th, 2016?
You want me to go back to it?
No, you don't have to. Just
Yeah, go
a
ahead.
point of reference. A lot happened in September of 2016. We have a Q post that said chains have been cut. She's fighting for her life. Was that Hillary's way of showing her withdrawal symptoms from not having the support that she once had through her foundation? Chains have been cut. A lot happened September and October of 2016 that never made sense to me unless you look at it with a different lens. I know I'm crazy. I'm just crazy. I know.
No, you're not. Do you know I stopped into your chat last night?
No, I somebody told me after you left. It's like, well, darn.
I tried to butt in, but then I felt like I interrupted you and you kept moving. So
I didn't hear you. If I'd have heard you, I would have stopped.
Yeah.
I was previewing my big debut that I finally got a go signal for. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I do, and that's what I want to hear about. Let's transition. Go ahead.
So everybody knows, Sarge knows, since November of 2020, I have been all over two things. They're like my pet research projects. And that is the Throckmorton case of 1868, which is where the word vitiate comes from. Fraud vitiates everything. And National Security Presidential Directive 51, which is a continuity plan to ensure constitutional government despite or in the event of an existential threat against our country, against the governance of our country. So on the 3rd, Boone Cutler tweets out the link to the directive. And I came unglued. I sent it to everybody going, woohoo! Look. And then I proceeded to get told in no uncertain terms that I needed to do a Substack, a thread on Twitter, I'm building a new channel right now. I've got 20 slides left to put in with content to write a Substack, which I don't even have set up yet. I need an admin, okay? I need an admin. But I went through hundreds of slides on my research for Directive 51 and all the ensuing work that happened after that. And I've put together what I think is a bang-up piece for not just explaining the directive, but why I think it's been in place since February of 2021. The Sarge will tell you, I was kind of told in no uncertain terms, lay off the directive back in August of 2021. And I was, of course, had my feels hurt until I stepped back and go, well, you know, that kind of makes sense if you're trying to get people off the couch. But there was a definite go from Boone Cutler on the 3rd of May. And then as if I didn't have enough pressure, then Boone Cutler followed me back and I went, oh shit, I better get it done.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know I shared that post and I've heard you talk about Directive 51 multiple times on the show. It's been something that has been in your repertoire as far as research goes for a long time. Would you like to give an overview now so that we can catch up people that haven't quite picked up on it yet?
Essentially, and I've explained it many times, NSPD 51, Presidential Directive 51, National Security Presidential Directive 51 is a directive that Bush 2 put in place as a result of 9/11. I've also asked people millions of times, please listen to the Rumsfeld speech delivered to the Department of Defense on September 10th, 2011. Then listen to the video that will get Trump elected, and I defy you to tell me that there isn't a one-to-one pairing. PD 51 answered that because our ability to govern was seriously interrupted that day on September 11th. So this directive was put out. Since then, there has been a ton of work. In fact, there's a classified directive, PPD 40, put out by the Obama administration that didn't really rescind 51. What it did was it updated what the contents of 51 were with best practices, lessons learned, new tech, all of that. That is still classified. Now think about the logic of keeping that classified. By not rescinding 51, you still get the framework, but you don't know some of the deep stuff behind the scenes that's been going on. So I know without a doubt, and it doesn't even make sense for anybody trying to poo-poo it, why would you develop and spend so much effort developing a tool like this and not use it? Right? Why would you do that? So I spent a lot of time trying to put together what I think is logical. Directive 51 established the process through which the executive branch developed what we call national security functions, or essential functions. These are the functions within government that if they're not done, that governance of this country would be interrupted. And they developed these 4 levels to figure out, 5 levels actually, but to figure out what is essential, what isn't. Then from that, they developed a continuity policy. You've heard it as a COOP, a COG, ECG, there are the different plans that come from that. But then to develop the continuity plan to make sure in the event of an existential threat that our governance can continue. So that is the baseline for all the work that's been done since then. And there's a ton of stuff that's declassified and has since been declassified. It was originally top secret. You could read through and see the progression from the first Reagan one. The Clinton PD 67 was rescinded with PD 51, Bush's PD 51, but all the work since then, you can see how it was built on with best practices, lessons learned, new tech. And then under Trump, they brought in all the risk management planning. So under the Trump process, you see all these guidelines for how to do risk management for the COG. So there you go.
So,
and the channel is almost ready to go live. I will post it to Twitter, or X, excuse me. And I think I give a fairly good, compelling reason to show how I know it was activated. So I spend like half of the 74 slides going through that, just so you know.
Ruby said, when is a Hildebeest beautiful?
When it's all over, right? Beautiful, beautiful angel Hillary, and we go from crooked Hillary to crooked Joe. Don't you see? I don't know. Can nobody see what's being done here?
Sarge,
I told you that story, right?
So, it's full disclosure.
Yeah, in November of 2016, Hillary met with the FBI right after the election. But there was a lot of things started happening. Ruby, there was a lot of things that started happening beginning in September. That's why I keep saying something doesn't sit right there. But nevertheless, she closed down. And by the way, let me just say this: if it's crooked Hillary, why isn't it crooked Bill and crooked Chelsea? The foundation is called the Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea Foundation, but we only say crooked Hillary. They thought she would lose is not Hillary. You don't talk about yourself in the third party. So it's the people behind her. The foundation, the Clinton Global Initiative, by the way, set up by Brand and Epstein, is an umbrella that took in all this money and then diffused it through the foundation's efforts. That was shut down January 15th of 2017. 2 weeks later, the Biden Foundation opened up. So if you got beautiful, beautiful angel Hillary, no longer crooked Hillary, and now it's crooked Joe, can't you see the progression of the investigations? And we know there's a huge $6 billion investigation going on in Delaware. We were told that by Jim Jordan's committee last April with the IRS whistleblower.
I love you. I love you so much. Sarge, do you want to add before I ask a question?
You know, I think Fiesty covered it there. She's she's very well versed in this stuff. So she keeps her finger on the trigger.
For 5 years now.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you've been talking about Directive 51 since December of 2020. Like you, yeah. I mean, so I've heard it a million times.
I already had it researched by the time I met you.
Yep.
I think it's brilliantly obvious that you may be, look, your intel level as far as your research is concerned and how over the target I personally believe you are would be a solid justification for why you are a almost untapped, or at this point, just right now, currently, an unknown resource in this movement. You
know what? No, stop. You know why? Because my Telegram chat right now is abuzz with, I told you so, Fiesty.
But now you were given the go-ahead. I'm just grateful that I got to hang out with you before you got told to go.
Well, look who's talking. You were a nobody, what, a year ago?
Yeah, I'm still a nobody, but like some reason I got boosted.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I keep telling Fiesty that, you know, and I've told her this for a long time, that she's ahead of her time. So she finds these diamonds, right? And she uncovers all this great information, but nobody's ready to listen to it. So, we have to kind of put it on the shelf, let it collect some dust, and then over time, we dust it off and it's ready for public consumption.
That's what happened when Boone put that out. It was like, holy shit. I couldn't believe I saw that.
I think it was a like almost a go signal, like okay, we need to resurrect this topic now, and people need to see.
And that, mind you, that's the same day that Flynn put out, or at least the same day that I saw where it was put out, that Flynn said they're working on a plan in the White House to disrupt and cancel the elections. And then he said something that nobody else is asking the question about. I know some of the conversations going on in the White House. I'm thinking, how the hell do you do that? How do you conversations going on in the White House? And then Boone puts that out?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just a coincidence, though, right?
Well, let's even step further as far as speculation is concerned, and this is pure speculation, but when I started posting on X, it was right after Elon Musk, the top contractor of the Department of Defense, acquired Twitter. And what did I do when I went on X? What I did was I recapped everything surface level that happened while everyone was kicked off of X. That was my main purpose. That's what I made my goal. So I recap all those things, and I basically only used Trump's words and a hint of Q drops to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And all of it aligns with your research, but your research goes deeper. And now you're being told to go ahead. And if anyone believes that someone isn't pulling the strings behind all of social media at this point in time, whether it be good guys or bad guys, I believe good, then you'd be fooling yourself. This is an apparatus to monitor and manipulate the public narrative, period. Mm-hmm. So when certain accounts are boosted or certain accounts are silenced, there's reasons for it. And I just happen to be of the belief that the white hats are the ones doing that. So if you look at I think that they can put people together and separate people if they wanted to. I think it's possible. So for us to start to build this relationship, and for me to get boosted for the surface level, and now you to come in behind with a straight up green light means go on your research, and for us to all be working together, sure, that could be a coincidence. Maybe.
Because there are coincidences, right?
No.
No.
I think that's freaking awesome.
It is. Now, picture yourself, if you will, sitting behind this desk, right? Hammering at this keyboard for years, long before Q. Nobody hearing a word you're saying, if at the very least they're calling me the crazy Italian, right? And then all of a sudden you get a go signal. you've never had until the 3rd of May. I don't know exactly when Boone followed me back. I noticed it on the 5th, and I'm just sitting here going, no, the 4th. I noticed it on the 4th, and I'm thinking, may the 4th be with you. So, okay, I was having a little fun. But, yeah, I'm sitting here. I've not had a huge footprint. I'm finding out I am more known than I thought I was, which I didn't know. How the heck would I have known? I mean, it's not like I got a footprint anywhere, but and now all of a sudden I get this Fiesty, I love your research, and it's like, really? I didn't know you knew about it.
Yeah. Hey, I want to quickly address a comment that I just saw. Your boy Death saying, I heard General Flynn's brother stood down on having the military involved on J6. I don't know.
No,
okay. So let me run this down real quick. All right. General Flynn's brother was the Army G3, the G357. Okay. He fell under the Army chief of staff in the chain of command, and the Army chief of staff falls under the Secretary of the Army. Okay. The military does not have the authority to activate itself. Okay. The military always reports to a civilian. The Army, the Secretary of the Army is always a civilian, and the Army Chief of Staff is always a service member. Okay, so I don't understand how people can run with this narrative that Charles Flynn delayed having the National Guard sent in. No, he was there in the meeting as an advisor. He left the meeting early, specifically because he stated that he expected that the Secretary of the Army was going to be making a decision on that. Okay, so putting that to rest, because I keep hearing it over and over again. I have to keep squashing it with evidence. I posted I posted a diagram on the actual hierarchy of who reports to who in that in the Army, and it paints a very clear picture.
Well, while you're on that, because it's a very logical fallacy that people that don't understand the structure would make, can we talk about another logical thing that isn't being discussed? If Flynn is the traitor everybody's calling him, how is it his brother was moved through the ranks? He pretty much ran from 1-star to 3-star in like 2 years.
And he runs the whole Pacific.
He's in the Pacific Command. He was, before that, he was at the Pentagon rewriting all the training manuals, the ones
yep.
that. So
there's one more narrative too, that Charles Flynn was behind the Hawaii wildfires.
No, that's not.
Also, that's also negative, and the reason why. So Charles Flynn is the 4-star general of U.S. Army Pacific, right? Or U.S. Army Pacific Command. Now, his area of responsibility isn't Hawaii, even though he's stationed there. Okay, because the active military has no jurisdiction on U.S. soil, unless they're activated by Congress, under a specific operation. So his AOR is every other country in the Pacific region. Okay, that's what he's there to monitor and manage operations over. So Charles Flynn was not responsible for the Hawaii wildfires.
General Charles Flynn's 3rd star came in 2021, I believe. It might have been 2020. I'd have to go back and look. But yeah, he went from 1 to 3 in 2 years. He's now 4. But still, that's a pretty meteoric rise for somebody whose brother is a treasonous SOB. You see the fallacy?
Oh, yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question that parallels your point, Sarge? It's not the same. It's going to go off the topic of the Flynns, but do you guys first and foremost believe that 2016 was that we outvoted the stealing, or do you think that it might have been protected?
It was both. It
Yeah,
was
I think it was both.
battleground states. If you go back, there's a Q post, I can't remember the number, in January of 2018, where you see an email or a text. I think it's an email from New Fort Pumper, Virginia. There's no place like that, right? They're talking about stealing the vote. That email it was from 2016. We got it in a Q post in 2018. That email shows that the intent was to make sure that the vote did not go for Trump. So what the military did, we have National Guard that is involved in these battleground states heavily to protect the vote. And that's what they did, is they made sure that mine and your votes did get counted, that they didn't dick around with the battleground states. This is why they were so angry over some of the states that Clinton had lost. Now, that said, I was very active in the vote process in 2016, and I had friends that were down in Florida, and we had kind of, through the background, we had kind of built a network that if we saw anything, we were going to report it and see if we could get it elevated up through the chains. A friend of mine in the Panhandle of Florida spotted fraud happening in one of the precincts, put it out on our little alarm system, and we notified the right people, and they arrested 3 people for fraud in the Panhandle of Florida, a battleground state. So it was very active.
Okay, so would the military have been involved in that protecting of the certain swing
That
states?
is go up and look at the DHS site. There is a group of National Guardsmen that work with DHS, CISA, to help states prepare for and mitigate any threats that would happen as a result of issues with regards to the vote and the voting process. They've been very active every single election. I can show you all my research on it. In fact, there's documents up on the DHS site that explain what they do.
So here's, first of all, this is an
National Guard, they're not active military. There's a difference.
Repeat that.
They're National Guard, not active military. There's a difference.
Well, okay, but who does the National Guard report to? Who gives them their orders?
The governors.
The governors.
The governors, and DC reports to, well, they did report to the president.
Right.
So it would still be
And
civilian.
then, yes,
it's still
always civilian.
Okay, so
the military, it would be unconstitutional for the military to issue its own orders.
So this is the question I'm trying to get to. Well, first of all, that proves to me personally that 2020 was allowed to be stolen, part of the show, right? That's a side point.
Well, 2018 too. They let them steal the House.
2022 was
the Senate.
Yeah, same with 2022.
2022 was everything else on steroids. You want to hear another little neat thing?
Go ahead.
In a RICO, the Supreme Court has issued many opinions on RICO, and they said you can't just have a tangential situation. You have to show a pattern in practice and a likeliness of the criminality to continue. 3 federal elections, 2018, 2020, 2022, is a pattern in practice.
Yep.
Brilliant. So, but here's the final question in that series. And I think this is where some of the commander-in-chief stuff comes from, that Trump might still be. We know that he said that, we're sort of having a second term now. We just don't really want the results. We know that he's been called 45th, 46th, and 47th. We know this hat says 45-47. So a lot of us, through those noted incidences, will believe that Trump is still in some form of control. Don't know what it is personally, and that's why I'm asking you, being so researched. If 2016 was protected and there was military servicemen, whether it be National Guard or federal, whatever, they would have to they would get their orders from a civilian. So if Donald Trump was not yet president, who the hell made the call?
Oh, ouch. You're bringing up a name I don't want to talk about. You like going into the deep end of the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feet first or head first.
Head first, right? Smashed. The bottom of the pool she goes. Okay, I have said for years, if you're dealing with a shadow government in a deep state, and Q says fortified and entrenched, it's obviously not the boobs that you see in front of the camera, right? And the President's Club, out of all of that, is the only one that's limited by term, and it's a very small club. Presidents always take the heat for what happens under their watch. But if we've learned anything, if anybody would be honest enough to say that if we've learned anything over the last few years, it's not the presidents committing the crimes, right? That's number one. Number two, you know, when you step back just a tad and you think to yourself, Manchurian candidate, that's an empty suit that's controlled by an enemy force, right? So how is it you have an empty suit controlled by an enemy force controlling anything under the Biden administration? Does that connect for you?
Yeah. I want you to connect it for everybody watching.
I think I've said enough.
Yeah, that's
my work's done here. Talk to you later. Bye.
No, it's not. We got more. It's seriously something deep to think about. That is for sure, and that's why
what it says is there has been a force. We've known it for 100 years that has been eroding our Constitution. They've been literally using our own Constitution against us for 100 years. Put on steroids. Kennedy was. Reagan was shot. Nixon that was a coup against Nixon. And Bush, 9/11 was another coup against Bush. Keep going down that pattern, right? At some point, enough is enough. But Trump also said he studied history. And what did we find out over history? If you're doing honest reflection over history, is a president who doesn't have a bigger plan in place is at grave risk. Look at Lincoln.
He also said that he's been preparing for this moment his whole life.
His entire life. He became an FBI asset in 1981. Do you think that was just a quinky dink?
Working with the Southern District of New York, FBI office.
Yeah.
Oh, don't forget, Connecticut kind of fits in there where Durham's got all of his work.
Yep.
You know that Sidney Powell is from Durham, North Carolina, same place where CBS 17 airs and the fourth PSYOP room is located.
Because, you know, it doesn't matter. That's all coinky-dink.
That's really funny. And so I want to get to, eventually here, I want to get to Sheila's decode.
Yes.
Oh, before you do that, please go to your Telegram. Look at the slides I sent you.
Well, I was gonna bring this one up quick before we got there.
Oh, okay, go ahead. I can't believe I saw that. I cannot believe I saw that. Is that his excuse for going kind of off the plantation?
Sorry, Steve, talk on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised because I like to research parasites and health in general. So finding out that he had I don't know how much of his brain was actually eaten, but RFK Jr. has always had liberal tendencies, right? And he's gained a lot of popularity because of his anti-COVID vaccine stance, right? So people thought that he might have been a conservative. I don't know. I still think he's a full-fledged liberal, potentially half brain dead, who happens to not believe in the COVID vaccines, or many other vaccines. But yeah, it
says a normal off ramp, don't you?
Yeah, it was an interesting story, and my stance on parasites. I think that they're more common than people want to admit. So,
is that what worms really look like, SARS? That's an ugly ass dude.
Yeah, some of them can look really, really creepy, like especially tapeworms. When you look at their heads, yeah, they're pretty funky looking.
That thing's got straight up almost alien eyeballs.
Exactly.
No comment.
And not a lot of people know this, but some parasites can alter behavior in their host, right? So when we look at like all these people who have illogical thought processes, you've got to wonder if they have parasitic infections, which parasitic infections they typically start in the gut, and the gut is where your serotonin is produced, and parasites can feed off of serotonin. So If you're not getting proper serotonin levels to your brain, then you could potentially go crazy.
So like the mask on Jim Carrey might have been a parasite parallel, or even the guy from Spider-Man, when the black stuff that wrapped up on him, that was similar to
that was parasitic. Yep.
Interesting.
So, but and I, I know this because my wife had like severe anxiety and depression, and then once we dewormed her, like within a week, her panic attack stopped. And I was freaking amazed because she had battled like daily panic attacks for 5-6 years.
Fiesty, where'd you send me the Telegram? DM?
Yeah.
Do you guys see that question that's on the board? I think that's interesting.
Yeah, there are campaign commercials all over YouTube and a few other places, but largely there's not a lot of discussion about either the party conventions or the election.
That's weird, right?
It is.
Yeah.
If you are into thinking that everything's normal, yeah, it would be.
I am not into thinking everything's normal.
Yeah, none of the thing we're watching is normal.
I see a whole pile of slides. Which one did you have?
Let's go up to the top.
Oh boy.
There's not that many. There's not that many.
I see. Okay.
There's not
30 slides.
No, there isn't.
I'm
So
kidding.
10 or so.
Remember this. This is in September of 2020. There's this back and forth between Barr and Trump. And I'm not going into it here, but Barr is saying there's very big voter fraud investigations going on in the states. Trump is talking about election fraud investigations, and there's back and forth going on. What they did was they played on the fact that nobody understood that there's a difference between voter and election fraud. So that's a key thing to remember, because if go to your next slide, what you find out in a few days later, a month later, is that Trump called on Barr to act against Biden before the election. Of course, the left went nuts. They're saying, hey, he's using the DOJ to go after his opponents. Not like we haven't seen that before. Next slide. That's the 20th of October on Halloween. This is actually posted on the 1st of November, but it was actually on Halloween. A white horse shows up at Barr's house. Everybody's going, what the hell is that? Next slide. And 11 days after Trump said go after, take Biden to the Supreme Court. So then you have on November 13th, we get the Q post with Durham. That's literally right after we have the horse, right? So just keep this in mind. What's cool about this is we got the notice on November 13th. The media didn't find out till December 1st, which is obviously a 17-day delta between what we knew and what the media found out. Next slide. And then we found out on the 9th of November that there was a server that was next slide, Joe. There was a server confiscated in Germany, and then all of a sudden everything started to change. Let me go through this one. We know that the server contained all that data, and according to Mary Fanning, down to the MAC addresses, which if you know anything about electronic devices, everything has an independent address. It's called a MAC address. So we literally got the data down to the device used to change the votes, both on and offshore activity. So Snopes, of course, went batshit crazy trying to, all of them did, trying to disprove the whole server thing, but we also had Gomer come out and say, no, I was told the same thing. Here's where I put in the definition between voter and election fraud. Voter fraud is what you and I do, right? This is something that a voter does. Election fraud is what a public official or candidate to office does. Someone who's taken the oath or about to take the oath. Election fraud is a more serious crime in that the potential to disrupt the entire election process happens at the level of election fraud. So what Barr was investigating was voter fraud. That would be all about ballot stacking. But election fraud, he stayed silent on. And Trump is asking Barr to go to the Supreme Court over it. He specifically said election fraud, and Barr specifically never uses the word election fraud. So keep that in mind as you watch what's going on. What that's telling you is those election fraud investigations were happening. He was just staying moot. Trump was giving a red, a kind of a hat tip as to what's going on behind the scenes. So next
because
slide.
election fraud is an act of treason.
Right.
And what is treason? Death.
Yep.
Quick trial. I want to take just a second, tell everybody to hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying this. And certainly, if you're not doing it, you need to both follow Sarge, SSG, and Fiesty Cat. Fiesty is full of this. She does it on a daily basis, and it blows my mind every time she hangs out. Go ahead, Fiesty.
So, thinking about that horse on Barr's front lawn, remember the Capablanca game? We all talked about it. We've all kind of researched it from the beginning, the Capablanca game. Well, in that game, there are 2 white horses, right? The white knights that are sacrificed. So, obviously, Barr sacrificed himself in the first white knight. Wait do you see where I go with this? So, and here's how it's done. Obviously, Black Knight takes over the White Knight. You see it down there right under the text. Okay? Capablanca said that he felt honor bound to do this so that the pawn could be defended. And you'll see why. Next slide. So in the next slide, you find out a second White Knight is sacrificed. You see it right there. And as a result of that, the bishop took that piece. This pawn was able to move up. And what ends up happening, that pawn moves up and queens up. So Durham sacrificed himself. I'm asking the question, is the pawn his son?
Wow.
Look, I've been asked if I was an operator before, and I thought it was really fun. How does your brain work?
I don't know. I have worms.
Yeah.
Yo, you are unbelievable. Next slide.
If you're not called an operator, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, well, that's true. So, yeah, you can go to the next slide. This is on July 17th. We're introduced to John Durham Jr.
Oh, my God.
This is a presentation that's done in the Oval Office. Attorney General Barr is going through a whole list of people that had just been arrested. Yeah, that word. He's going through that whole presentation, and Trump, after Barr is done, looks around and he points out all the people in the room. To his left, on the right of the slide there's a line of people from the FBI and the DOJ. And POTUS says, it's like central casting. You people are going to do a great job, and we appreciate it.
Oh, my God.
Fawns all over them. It's central casting, playing a role, right? Remember, Ray is a sleeper. Oh, yeah, and just in case you missed it, Ray is the third person from the left in that picture. Then he says, oh, but we forgot one, and he looks over at John Durham Jr. Come to find out, he's the head of Keeping American Communities Safe program. Think about that in the contextually, not just as a title of a program, but contextually. Boy, how far that could go. He's actually a U.S. attorney with Eastern District of New York. Does that sound familiar?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So could Durham Sr. be laying the field, clearing the palette for his son?
You do know you're the only one going this deep, right?
Yep. She is.
Either I watched it crazy and nobody gets it, or I don't understand why nobody went and saw this. This is all out there.
Well, I'm just going to say it. There's some really huge influencers, whatever you might want to call it, people that have done amazing research, and yours is paralleled by nobody I know. And that is I'm not knocking them. What I'm saying is you need
making sure I still have a ceiling and a roof over because my head's getting so big. I'm just checking.
Well, I'm just telling you
that's okay for now, but you better slow down because it's starting to get close.
You can joke, but I honestly am not playing. I look up to what you're doing.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Is this the last one?
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to show you those because I think. Oh no, look at that. That's a good one to look at. So I'm doing research on
You're
Durham.
getting spammed in the chat.
Yeah, I've been doing research on Durham and all the indictments that he put out, and all of a sudden, a lot of the, you know how a lot of times there would be an article in like WAPO or the New York Times, and it'll be picked up by somebody else. The pictures are being changed, and uniformly, they're all using John Durham Jr. Just thought I'd point that out, which highlights the fact Durham was not ever the only game in town. I think this goes bigger. It must be right. It must be according to the law. Must be proven. This is all John Durham's, I guess, bailiwick, right? He takes his job very seriously, like father, like son. So there.
Thank you, Sarge.
That's it. I'm done sharing now. For the rest, you guys are going to have to join my channel when I get up live.
Well, and I want everybody hang out because as we do always before the end, we're going to find out where you can follow anyone that's ever on this show. Of course, tell them they always have. These two already know it, but revolving door, open door policy to coming back on the show whenever they would like. Thank you, Sarge, for look. I'm going to put it out there. If anybody is in this chat all of the time and wants to help moderate, right now I do this all on my own. So when people like Stormy Fat Tits decides to write fart 3 million times, like some sort of asshole, and you wanted to help potentially either be a moderator or produce or whatever, we could talk in back channels. I am looking for help because it's tough to do by yourself. So Sarge, I appreciate that because I'm sitting here paying attention to the mind-blowing work that Fiesty is presenting, and I don't always see it. So that, and I want to say thank you very much to Heidi Erickson with a $17 Rumble rant. Yep, Fiesty is amazing. Actually, all three of you are. So glad we can finally talk about PD 51.
Yeah, I know.
Do you guys want to transition one more time? What do we got? Well, yeah, this is perfect. Do you guys want to talk about what Sheila put up?
Oh, gotta talk about what you did. That was amazing.
So, first of all, do you want to tell everybody who she is, Sarge, while I pull it up?
Yeah, so Sheila is actually the singer in the band that I'm in, called We Got Your Six. She's been a musician for a very long time, and We Got Your Six got started off a couple of years ago. Both Stormy Patriot Joe and I were in We the Media together, and we were both talking about doing music, just putting out some music, getting some folks together, and so Stormy was friends with Sheila, and we kind of all just got together, and we've never met in real life, but we've been able to share some do some recordings, share some audio files, and then Sheila's husband does the mixing, and then she does a great job of putting the music videos together. So that's kind of the rundown of how we got our start, and we put out 5 songs over the past couple of years, and we're working on some more songs to put out here in the near future.
I'm going to play one of Sheila's songs. I don't know if it was with all you guys or not. I know we've already played a few of We Got Your Sixes songs on here, and I'm going to do a shameless plug quick because it fits. Stormy Patriot Joe and Absolute are going to be here on the 30th. So on the 30th, I will be sitting down on this show just like SSG and Fiesty Cat are doing now, but that will be with Stormy Patriot Joe and Absolute 1776 from Eye of the Storm on Badlands. I cannot wait to sit with those two. Yeah, bro. How cool is that?
Yeah. And it's amazing, after watching like the division ops that played out, a year and a half ago with We the Media. It's amazing how we're still able to come back around full circle and bring people back together. I was like I'm not friends with everybody over there right now, but I'm really grateful that I've been able to reconnect with Joe and Absolute, and a few others. Like it's just kind of shows the resilience of this movement. The fact that we can come back together and still all agree on saving the country.
You're reminding me of something. I probably should have given Abs a shout out. So some of that that surface dig I did on CBS 17, I was up real late. He helped me with that. So he was the one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was the one that pointed out that that's where the fourth PSYOP group's at, and he's the one that told me about the Kraken. What's her face being born in Durham?
Yeah, Sidney Powell. Wow.
Yeah, so him and I were up late one night, and I was already going through CBS 17, and he chimed in and started showing me some other things. It's great when you start working together, and that was really one of the catalysts that got us to be able to get together and hang out. And
we're all one big happy family, even if we don't know it.
Yeah, those guys are awesome, and they used something that I did on their show the other day. So for anybody that's not aware, Eye of the Storm is probably the best Q-based show there is out there. Just going to be honest with you. I think that Fiesty does an amazing job, but those guys have a show that comes on once a week, and you want to talk about expanding your mind, seeing connections, and talking about what we've seen, future proofs past, news unlocks the map type of thing. Those guys are killing it. So speaking of killing it, let's talk about Ultra Gutsy Sheila, the lead singer of your band. Bro, mine when you sent me this like an hour before the show, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, no, I know. I saw it too. I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing.
Well, let's just read her post, and then I'll see what you guys have to say about it. So she wrote, "Friends," which I love the way she spelled that. "The fourth PSYOP group sent us a message in their latest Ghost in the Machine 2 video. If you put the watches in order by the time displayed on them, then look at the dates on the watches, it's 11.11.18. America will be unified again." That's the drop. If you search 11.11.18, that comes up. America will be unified again. The watches in order that they appear in the video. 154, time on the watch is 10:11, making it the third watch in order by time. 2:27, time on watch is 8:42, making it the first watch. 2:34, time on the watch is 8:45, making it the second watch. The first watch has a date of 11, second of 11, third of 18. Boom. 11, 11, 18. Well, what drop comes up with that? 1, 2, 3, 4. America will be unified again. 11, 11, 18. And then, for those of you that aren't aware, this is something that we've talked about in this movement before, but it's relevant to what she just did. For anyone that doesn't know, 11.11.18 is the IP address for the Department of Defense.
Yeah, it's actually a subnet. It represents a subnet range. With anything with the with the IP where the last octet is 0, it kind of represents the entire.
And don't you remember the day Biden took office? A whole block of those addresses were. Remember?
Yep, exactly.
You got muffled there, Feisty. Can you repeat that for me? I was pulling something up.
The day Biden took office, an entire block of those addresses were given to a company in Florida.
Yeah. Do you have a reason why?
We never were told why. But I can pull up everything we do have, and I'll show it to you.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can do that. Follow Feisty. So here, I think we would be a bit remiss if we didn't play the video. So this is Ghost in the Machine #2. And I want to parallel it to something that I personally connected by watching it again. So first of all, I want to say my favorite, I'll actually, so I can quote it. My favorite line in this new Ghost in the Machine #2 video is that art is not a form of propaganda, it's a form of truth. To me, that kind of sums up everything we're watching, right? We are watching a PSYOP. This is Psy War, but the idea of it is that they are exposing the real issues that our country had. I've said it ad nauseum on this show. So if they're truly, if they're using a form of art to expose the truth, then this video and her connection perfectly describe that. So let's watch the video quick, and then I want to make a recall that I think told us this even earlier. Ready?
There are many people in the world who really don't understand freedom has many difficulties. But we have never had to put a wall up to keep our people in. Freedom is indivisible. And when one man is enslaved, all are not free.
Modern war has become a struggle for men's minds as well as for their bodies. Today we face an enemy who spends enormous sums of money and manpower all over the globe in an attempt to subvert the thinking of the people of the free world, confuse, divide, and ultimately to subjugate.
It is a contest unlike any we have ever faced in our history as a nation.
Contest for the minds and hearts of people around the world, all people.
When power corrupts, poetry cleanses. We must never forget that art is not a form of propaganda. It is a form of truth.
Psychologists find that control of emotions can be gained by understanding the stimulus-response pattern. Many everyday things become associated with these primary stimuli, partly by a process called conditioning.
It's a strange, shadowy world. The doctored photograph, the misquotation, the insinuation, and the lie.
I think of fire in connection with emotion. Cause, effect.
You've got to get a hold of yourself.
We have to work together. You have to help.
We'll light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire and truly light the world.
Yes, in modern warfare, our military leaders are finding that words and ideas are highly effective weapons.
So I have a line of questioning for you guys, but I want to play one more thing if you don't mind. So I want to I want to make a recall that I'm not sure everybody would connect with this, but I certainly did. So basically what you're seeing in all of these four POG videos is that they're telling you that there's some sort of art and life meshing together to expose the crap that's been going on behind the scenes. And what you two dove into today, before that, was the potential legal avenues that are happening, legal things that are happening behind the scenes, and some of the stuff that we've seen, but nobody's picking up on because of the show. So I want to ask how they parallel, but I want to show one more thing that I think is important, that was a lot more important than got credit for. And that's this. So every word, specifically the way this ends, is mind-blowing if you understand what you're looking at. If you don't understand what you're looking at, this looks like parody bullshit. But think about it from the perspective that all of the research Fiesty just gave, and the fact that we are watching some sort of, if the 4POG video is true, some form of art that's giving us truth. You ready? I know you guys are going to know this as soon as I show it.
Even begun yet, and it does seem like the presidential race is effectively frozen in place, if not over. We know who the candidates are. It's too late for another to get in. Some have already dropped out. But is it too late? Is there anyone in this country of 350 million people who could jump in at this late date and re-scramble the calculus of electoral politics? Well, there may be someone. And in fact, you already know him. You know his face. And the question is, will he get in this cycle? And that's my question for you.
Well, That's really a decision for the people, Tucker. It's not something that I really think about or want to do. And Merry Christmas to you, too. But I've always believed that nothing should be off the table in life or in art. I think we could both agree that we need to get some adults back in the room. So if that means taking on the chief executive role, well, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make for this great nation.
Adults in the room. I love it. I can see there's a bumper.
Wait, can I go so far as to say I think Ford Pog is the one that produced this?
I wouldn't be surprised.
It would not shock me in the least.
Right. This is so parallel in a different form to a different audience that I think they did it. Let's finish.
Your campaign.
What I love about it, though.
Bad idea. Look, I think first our country needs to stop apologizing and stiffen up. I mean, look, we got so many people running around with so many different issues like gun control, important issue. But let's be honest. The truth is, more people are killed by online trolls every day.
That may be true, actually, but then they're protected by the First Amendment. They can say whatever they want. You believe in the First Amendment, I assume.
Of course I do. Look, people spewing ridiculous ideas is nothing new, and they should always have that right. But the problem is, somewhere along the way, we started listening. And we should remember the salient words of Benjamin Franklin, who said, "Do not believe anything of what you hear and only half of what you see." And he wasn't telling people to stop talking. He was telling us to stop listening. So let's stop blaming bots and college kids and start telling leaders what leadership really means.
I love it. But how do you do that?
Well, this country is mired in so much contradiction and confusion. We don't even know how we can help anyone anymore because we can't agree who needs help. I mean, what doesn't come with a trigger warning these days? I mean, Tucker, we are far too close to having a beanbag chair in the Oval Office. We coddle to everybody. Okay, you think you're a rabbit, that's fine. But let me tell you something. You sure as hell aren't going to see someone walking through my White House in bunny ears and a tail unless it's Easter.
Well, amen. But how do you think we got here in the first place?
Fear, fear, and then some more fear. That's been the consistent theme, fear. And that's why I'm going to keep saying we need to get some adults back in the room.
Sounds like you're running. If you did run, I assume it would be as an independent.
Well, I've always been independent my whole life, no matter what my party affiliation, even though at the moment I don't quite recognize my old party.
So at what point would you get in if you did?
Well, I think there's time. I've never been afraid to show up a little late for the dance.
But lots of people want to be president. What would you specifically bring that others aren't?
Well, I think I have a long and very solid relationship with the public. And that's a bond that has never been broken. I mean, I've almost felt like I can talk to them directly.
Well, I mean, you do talk to them. Every Christmas you give a statement. It is Christmas Eve. What is your statement specifically this year?
You know, Tucker, I think it's just good enough to sip some eggnog and decorate the tree and listen to White Christmas and embrace all the things that make this such a special day. The truth is, I love nothing better on this day than to do a line of blow, drink a whiskey and Coke, hit a reindeer with my car, and wish you all the naughtiest Christmas ever.
You know, you and I have something in common, actually.
Oh, yes, we both got canned by our network.
True, but they actually tried to kill you.
Yes, but here we are, Tucker, bigger than ever.
So looking back on all the drama, do you think that legacy media played a role in what happened to you?
Look, I think they're trying to do their best to stay relevant. Look, platforms like X, I mean, you move information around so quick that everybody else is just playing catch up. Legacy media's diligence has turned out to be they just cut and paste what some trusted outlet does. I mean, look, this will be a good example. Watch how they report on this conversation. There'll be one or two headlines that get repeated over and over and over. I think actually if legacy media wants to survive, they're going to have to start slowing down.
That's smart. I agree with that. By the way, do you watch Netflix anymore?
Probably as much as you watch Fox.
Fair. So that doesn't mean that you're gone though from Netflix. I don't even know if you're aware of this, but every time a person pulls up the Netflix app, you're there in some way. Have you seen this?
Yes, you know what that is. Boom, boom.
Boom, boom. There's one. Boom week ahead, right? So my favorite line from this, you'll see when he does this with his fingers, you guys are going to know what I'm talking about. It is literally the same message Ford Pog's giving us in their own video.
So it is bizarre that they decided to publicly cut ties with me on allegations alone, allegations that have now been proven false, because I don't think there's any question. Netflix exists because of me. I put them on the map, and they tried to put me in the ground.
Do you think within Netflix and the leadership suites that your influence is still felt?
Well, according to your research, my influence is felt every time every customer opens the app. I'd say that's pretty powerful.
Oh, that's true. When are you getting back to work, by the way?
Oh, I've been back at work from the moment we started talking, Tucker.
Right. And one more thing. Can we admit that this is not an interview? This is 100% scripted.
It's all scripted.
Yeah.
He's doing the whole thing in role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not talking in his own voice. He's in role, right?
His initials are FJU.
You're watching a movie.
He says Frank Underwood from House of Cards.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
And what does he say in there? Believe nothing of what you hear and only half of what you see.
Right.
He's telling you, you're watching the movie, people, enjoy the holiday.
This entire interview is one giant red pill loaded with little comms.
Yep.
Right. And so for all of the info that we've heard about Kevin Spacey over the accusations, you really have to question the legitimacy of those accusations now.
Well,
right. And
the legitimacy of the accusation shot themselves in the foot when Netflix.
Right. Yep.
At the same time, we just watched, when we started this show, a clip of De Niro attacking Trump, right?
Mhm.
I'm of the mindset that most of this messaging, if not freaking all of it, is intentional. So sometimes people are being used to put a message out, maybe because they're compromised, they've capitulated, they're being used. Look, Barack Obama, I always use it, sat and said, if I could sit in my basement and have a third term with the earpiece, and I'm telling y'all, I 100% believe that was on purpose to lead us down a path emotionally.
A primrose path, right. But what did we start this with? You showed us the other piece, and both of us said it looks, scripted there too.
Agreed.
When you look at him, he's a phenomenal actor. Again.
Absolutely.
It's a great character.
Right.
So here comes the best part of the whole video.
So does that mean this is like an episode, or is it real?
Well, it's probably a little of both. I mean, Tucker, what's true, what's false? What's life, what's art? What's real, what's performance? I love it when these things intersect, because then it gets interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What role do you see yourself playing going forward?
I will play whatever role the public wants me to play. And what about you, Tucker? What role do you want to play? I mean, if I run, I'm going to need a vice president.
Oh, my God.
Sleep on it. I mean, people have already gotten out of the race. People have dropped out already. What do you think of those?
Well, it's a little bit like jumping in the jacuzzi with a boner. You know it ain't going to last forever. So I wasn't surprised when Mike, a little too pensive, jumped out right away.
I wasn't either. But what about the candidates who are still in?
Well, I like Vivek, Drain the Ramaswamy, and Nikki Haley is tough. She's no doubt learned a thing or two by watching me.
Yeah.
But I think
he just told you she's an app, she's a show.
Like me, not afraid to push our country or a journalist in the right direction if it comes to that.
I sure appreciate your coming on. It was great to see you. Thank you.
Wait. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did everyone hear that? You just said we're not afraid to push a journalist in the direction.
In the right direction.
Yep. And Fiesty, quick recap on the candidates that went up against Trump.
Every single one of them is a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
And
Haley, when she resigned from the UN, Trump did a presser for her, right? Specifically for her. And he told her, you can have any job you want.
Now talk about the money.
Oh, my goodness. Especially I saw it with DeSantis, saw it with Chris Christie, even with Nikki Haley, they were drawing up PAC money.
Yes.
When they dropped out of the race, that those donors didn't get their money back, right?
Right. Where does it go to?
It goes into the campaign coffers for whoever they support. Hello, Donald Trump.
Yep. There you go.
At one point, I can't remember the number now, but DeSantis had pulled in tens of billions of dollars. And when he dropped out, that money stays in his campaign coffers. He then endorses Trump. That money becomes Trump's.
Boom.
And all of these guys have been drying up PAC money. Like I said, these people, all of these donors did not get their money back.
Which also means the anomalies that we saw, like Vivek, like straight up stealing Obama's speeches.
And not only that, did you catch the part where he's got some questionable behavior with his own healthcare company? Right. So here he is, the face of everything we saw with the Democrats and their candidates. Stealing, plagiarizing, just like everything we've been watching. Running for president. He became popular because he was a great orator. Gee, where have you heard that before? Wasn't Obama called a wonderful orator?
Yep.
I found Inkspot's question intriguing. So do you think that I know I think, so I'm going to lead this question, but Forpog is directly being directed by what I would choose to believe is the Q team. So yes. The answer to that would be in one way, shape, or form from me, it would be yes. Do you guys agree with that, or?
Agree.
Yeah, I think to an extent, like so we don't know if Q wrote the script or if Q is a product of the script.
I think Q is a product of the script, and let me explain why. We know that we've got quantum computing capabilities. It's a matter of putting it. It's obviously Q is not a product of garbage in, garbage out, right? Because we've seen too many things come true. But if you know, for example, that the judicial system takes 2.5 years or so, you can kind of plot your course through the map. At which point, all you need to develop Q is a good AI running off that data.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
Man, I love these shows.
I know. Hold on. I want to thank Lord of the Pepe. It's always good to see you, girl. Very good friend of mine. She said, yo, this is probably one of the most fire combos I've watched yet on your show, Joe. Love this for everyone. Stay comfy. That's from Lord of the Pepe, $5 Rumble rant. And I wanted to say, I looked at the channel the other day, and the Red Castles have now collectively gotten to the point where this show is supported by $100 a month just through people that did the Red Castle $5 a month thing. So I want to thank all of the Red Castles for that. You guys mean the absolute world to me. And for only being a month and a half into this platform, episode number 23 today, that is that means the world to me. It does. It does, especially as I go into this court date. I'm not going to be doing any shows next week because I'm going to my mom's criminal trial. So I wanted to make sure I thought of that and said thank you to everybody. So
God bless her. You know, I do want to say, like the magic of being here is not that we, you know, you've got a couple things, like a couple topics pre-planned ahead of time, but this entire conversation has been organic.
Yeah,
and it's been wild. It's been wild to see the stuff that that comes up, and the real-time research that takes place, and I love this show. It's been it's been one of my favorite things to do ever since you came on the scene.
I think that was always the goal. The goal was always for me. The goal has always been to give a platform to the movement, right? So I love that I get to host it, but I have all types of different guests with different perspectives, different backgrounds and digging, etc. And I just try to be respectful and understanding of everyone's experience and how they got to the place that they're in. It's always the most fun, though. I got to be honest, when I talk to people who have researched as deep as you two, or are as free-minded as, like, say, a JF9 or a Smart Paul. I can go through everybody's amazing traits, but it's always a blast when I'm able to talk to people whose research backs up what my gut's telling me, and that's what always happens with you two. It always happens. Yep. Oh, I forgot though. There was one more thing I wanted to show, and I gave him a hat tip early on in the show because I planned on doing it. So I just remembered it, and I would like to do it. Did you guys see Enoch's newest decode?
I did not. I missed that today because I've been caught up in everything else.
Just like Fiesty and Sarge are here for episode number 27, Enoch was here for episode
23. Get it
20.
right.
Sorry, did I say 27?
Yeah,
23. Sorry, I was reading while I was talking. But this is Enoch's newest canon decode. Check this out.
Unbelievable. Do you know 4 people have dropped that in my chat room, Enoch? Everybody loves it.
Yeah.
Fiesty, do you want to explain it?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's right there. First of all, how do you miss Judge Cannon, right? But you got Smith admitting that they misled the judge in the Trump docs case, right? And that's Judge Cannon down in Florida, right? So future comms came from the fact that late last night, was it? That same Judge Cannon indefinitely postponed the classified docs case, or the trial on the classified docs case, because of Jack Smith finally admitting he misled the judge.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. So now you look at the rest. You got Prestage, Director White. Those are, if you go back and look at the Q post, go back to what we call Stringer 219. Those are a part of those stringers. This is what I always believe, my first notable, if you will, were the cases. Remember, Q said most of the cases are in D.C., or most of the people being arrested are in D.C. Those are the stringers that go along with that. And it looks like those are related because it's freedom versus to these high-level cases that are under seal. Somebody's getting arrested right after this.
Oh my God, that's freaking mind-blowing. I love my friends. I freaking love you guys. Oh,
those that pre-stage, the stuff that says there, those are orders.
Hat tip, Enoch. Really good job, buddy.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job with that one.
This is the same guy he was the first one to see End on the Donald Trump mugshot. And there will be no step 5.
Yeah, I was too busy in the weeds with some of this other stuff. I missed all of that. I rely on people like Enoch because it's like, oh, cool, that's cool. That's really cool. I love that decode, Enoch.
Well, he's great because he's got that, and I mean this with the utmost love, and I think everybody in this movement understands it, but he's a complete autist. And he deals in
just notice patterns, right?
Yes. And he does Enoch's News Blast. So he stays in the headlines, and his thing is decoding the drops. And he's the most cute anon there is, as far as I understand.
I think you're right. I'm never cute, so you can ignore everything I say.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, he's always been super observant, and picks up a lot of things. Like there are a few people that that I've noticed over the years that have just been very on point with their findings. And Fiesty, you've found quite a bit that no one else has found. So that's the beauty of this movement, is that everybody brings something different to the table.
What would be, and that's what I miss in the movement. We kind of talked about that last time, Joe. Is in the beginning, we used to be collaborative, and by March of 2018, that blew up, and we became these lone wolves doing our own thing. Can you imagine, with all of us finding these little Easter eggs all through the news, if we could put them together, the story we could have told? I still have hopes we can still do that at some level, but the stories we could have told would have been amazing. The media wouldn't have been able to dismiss us.
No. And you know what? I think that the good guys shut you guys up.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But it's still fun to work together.
Yeah, but we're not only being allowed to do it again, but I think that the whole culture of the whole thing is coming back around to that. I think it is. We just talked about it. Stormy Joe and Absolute are coming on the show. I've sat with people from across the board from different hives that all have the same goals, and they all seem to want to come and hang out with me on this little tiny platform that just started, so that we can have conversations like this that just kind of flow. I am finding that everybody is now starting to work together. That's my opinion. Of course, there is the infiltrators and the people that are trying to mess with it and divide it. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. If anything, it might ramp up, but it's pushing us to work together more. I think that's what I'm seeing.
And to be judicious, right? Discerning.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's probably the most important part.
To me, though, is with all of the chaos that's going on, there's still good work being done, whether or not it's getting the sunlight. I think your show, which I'm telling you, it's being boosted for a reason, gives an opportunity for some of this other work that's behind the chaos, right, to get that sunlight. And it's exciting because, again, I keep thinking about that Q post that says, "Bring the rain, you'll know when." That's us. They're talking about bringing this information out.
Yeah, that's awesome. I gotta say, Lord threw up $2 more and said, "Can you tell Fiesty that we absolutely love her digs and her convos? She doesn't need to be cued to know how valuable she is in her movement. No joke. One of my fave go-tos for her info."
Well, just so you know, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I don't care that I never got cued. Early on in the movement, I was actually asked, "Would you like to be cued?" We were just asking amongst ourselves, would you wish to be cued? It's like, no. At the time, I had young kids in the house. I had a top secret clearance. I was unemployed but hoping to find work to put that clearance to use. Last thing I wanted was to be cued. I didn't want the notoriety. Obviously, now you see my face. I'm no longer employed. The clearance is expired. The kids are not so young anymore. Well, I do have a couple here, but things have changed over the years. Would I be cued now? I don't know. I don't care. I think I've done fairly well all these years without being cued. So there you go.
Well, Keith Oberman just thinks we're a bunch of effing anonymous idiots. So,
well, that's okay. I've been called worse. So, sorry, Keith, you're not original. Try harder.
Come and see me, Keith.
Right.
I invited him on. Anybody talks to you, he's invited on here. Let's do this because I want to give Sheila a big shout out. So I pulled one of her videos and I'm going to do the outro for today. I think today's show can't be topped if we kept going. I think we did an amazing job. I think having you two on is always you outshine what I even expected, and I knew it would be awesome. So
you didn't even know what we were going to talk about. This is great.
What's that?
I said it's really great because you can't prepare for something you don't know what you're going to talk about.
I know. It's great.
We're like very ad hoc, and I love it.
Well, tell everyone where they can find you so they can continue to follow the type of information when you're not on here, just so they can go, because I know you do a chat every night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so obviously I'm on X as @FrensFeisty, and if you look in my my profile, you'll see a link to my Telegram. The Telegram is to the chat room. Every night we open up at 8. We pray. About 8:35-ish, we talk about the news of the day until people get tired of talking or I get tired of listening to dead space, and we close out. So sometimes it could go an hour and a half. Sometimes it can go 4 or 5 hours. We've done both. Welcome to anybody, but just know, be respectful. Please be respectful, because that is our little space. We invite you into it. Wish you the best. Hope we have fun. Trolls will be smashed.
Boom. Get them, girl. Sarge, how about you, buddy? You want to tell everybody where they can find you, what you're doing with your parasites and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just floating around on on X at the Parasite Guy. I kind of do a little bit of everything. Actually working with a new friend that I just met recently, and she should be publishing some information on radiation and its impact on the body. We're kind of going to go down a rabbit hole there, and so stay tuned there. I think we're going to do a show at some point afterwards, or a spaces to kind of dig into that further, because I think that more people have radiation poisoning than they realize. It leads to a lot of problems. So yeah, it kind of parallels with parasites and opens the door for parasites. So yeah, more to follow there.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, both very much for coming on. Hang in there, everybody that's still watching, because we are going to listen to Sheila sing one of her songs, who she's also the lead singer for these guys. And We Got Your Six. Sarge is plays the guitar. He's not guitaring on, even though I thought he was. But he plays
No, we're the same person.
That was so funny when you guys had everybody convinced that they were. You had me convinced, bro. I'm just telling you.
Hey, I still run with it.
Funny. So hang in there for just a second, and we're going to play one of her songs before we get out of here. And if you could, there's like over 1,500 people that have watched on Twitter. If you guys could, please always feel free to join us over on the other two platforms, whether it be YouTube or Rumble, where there's 300 people watching right now and 63 likes. If you guys enjoyed this, the one thing that means the most to me is to help the algorithm to get more people to see, is to real simple. Just click that thumb up button, whether it be on YouTube or Rumble. So I thank all you guys. I'm just trying to build this platform so I can, again, give the movement a platform. So that's the idea. I am having a blast doing this. I hope that we can build it to a point where, you know, we got eyes from everybody in the movement, and we can all work on anything and everything it takes to expand our thought processes and move towards the same goal, which is freedom, family, God, country, saving kids, right? So with that, go ahead, Fiesty. Do you have something you want to say? I thought you were flagging me. Okay. All right. I'm gonna play one of Sheila's songs. This is actually the very first one that is, if you go to the Rumble channel that Sarge gave me, where We Got Your Six and Sheila's songs are on there. This is actually the very first one that was ever uploaded. I enjoyed it, so I'm going to play it for you guys so you can hear her voice. She did that amazing decode on 4Pog. Please go give her a follow. If you don't know how to follow her and you're on my X page, I reposted her and I quoted it with the Ghost in the Machine #2 video, and you can find her really quick. I hope everybody goes and follows her, because she is obviously a really key part of this movement. So let's check this out, and then we will get out of here for the day. Thank you, guys.
I dropped a link to her channel in the chat.
All right, awesome. All right, Sarge put up a link to her channel. So here we go. This is Sheila's voice.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. We're running out of time. Out of time. Tick tock, tick tock. For the man of the hour will take down every nation. The man of the hour.
For those of you at home, if I may, journalists are not the enemies of the people.
He could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think, and that is our job.
I cry. You cry. Me. We're running out of tears.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Running, we're running, we're running out of tears. down every nation.
A new world order.
For the man of the hour, wipe every hesitation away. Say a prayer, pray for love.
I want to be clear how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly.
For the man of the hour,
But for the most part, they have been very, very peaceful.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets are true without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda control. Exactly what they do, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
For the man of the hour, wipe every hesitation away. For the man of the hour, sticky.
You don't need us. You don't need us.
You don't need us.
You don't need us. You don't need us. You don't need us.
You don't need
us. You don't need us.
You don't need us. You don't need us. You don't need us.
She's awesome. She's absolutely awesome.
Never seen that before. I love that.
Yeah, that's good, right?
Yeah.
And I'm glad I thought of this, and I'm glad I played that because I forgot to tell everyone. Sarge, maybe you can speak on this, but tomorrow I got so hyped about talking about Stormy and Patriot Joe and Absolute that I forgot to tell everybody that Sun Tzu is going to be here tomorrow.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
What time is that show going to be?
1 o'clock.
Same time?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be in chat probably for a little bit.
My man. All right. Awesome. Yeah, it's going to be great. Well, one more time, thank you both very much. It's been an absolute honor to be able to sit and hang out with you both. So thank you.
No, you're most welcome. I enjoy it.
All right. And we'll see you guys all tomorrow. Love your butts. Peace.
All right, brother. Later, Fiesty.
Later.
To talk to my friends. These are my friends.